Mateos is Senator Lyndon P. Johnson's guest at a Texas-style reception for the nation's #1 visitors. A surprise guest arriving by helicopter is former President Harry S. Truman, who was visiting in Dallas and just hopped over to say hello. Also amongst the guests is another prominent Democrat, Speaker of the House Sam Rayburn. Somehow, as the gala barbecue and reception for President Lopez Mateos progresses, it develops into a handshaking rally that sees Senator Johnson's 5-gallon Stetson tossed into the ring for the 1960 presidential race. A practical demonstration of American-style politics in action for the good neighbor from across the Rio Grande. And an awesome example of just how big and freewheeling a typical Texas beef and beans barbecue can be.
And now, our feature presentation.
So when we married in November, and then I packed up and headed to Texas, we had a 57 Chevrolet and that thing was packed. And we started heading to Texas and everything changed. Pretty soon I didn't need my winter coat. And the farther we drove, the nicer it became. I couldn't believe it. There was no snow and it was November. I knew that things would change, but I didn't realize how drastically they changed. I had never seen the sunshine in the wintertime. I had lived in Minnesota all my life. That was my life, my church, my school, everything was very familiar to me, and my surroundings also. We got to Far on Sugar Road. That's where I came as a young bride. The house was tiled, the roof was tiled, and it was made of block, but I thought it was so cute. And I enjoyed setting up housekeeping in my little house on Sugar Road. Now you have to remember there were no Walmarts, there weren't any freeways. In fact, 10th Street was mainly an orange grove. McAllen was far different then than it is now. My father-in-law was here, and he welcomed me and gave me all the tips I would need. One of the tips he told me, stay close to John and you'll be okay. But you gotta understand, I couldn't understand anything. The singing was similar, only I liked it better because the music was a little peppier. I could play the piano, John played the guitar, and I tried to listen closely as he preached. I caught a few words. And then when we got home, I'd ask him about them. But I liked the atmosphere. People were friendly, loving to me. And I felt like I was a fish out of water. But I knew I was where I was supposed to be. I think I'd only been here 2 weeks when John told me, I want you to teach Sunday school tomorrow. There are some young girls at the church, they understand English, and you can do it in English. So I said, do you have my material? Oh no, he said, go in the bedroom, get down on your knees, and ask God for a lesson. That was really new for me. But you know what? He gave me a lesson. And I remember sharing with the young girls. They weren't so much younger than I was. That started Sunday school. And I kept doing it Sunday after Sunday. I was involved in Bible school in the summertime. The little church in McAllen was just packed with kids in the summer, and our staff was very limited. I think it was John and I, and Rita and Concha in those days, handling all those kids. But you know, God was there, and it was a great time. We saw lives changed and families saved through Bible school. The hardest part of my life was when my beloved husband was diagnosed with cancer. The caring for him, the praying for him, and the love that was shown in the church and in God's family was phenomenal, and it kept us going. And we were so sure that he was going to get well, but God had other plans. And I buried my husband on a Friday, and Sunday I was in church. I thought the people lost their shepherd and I need to be there. And that's where I wanted to be too. I wanted to feel the love of the brethren, the comforting arms, and the tears that I would share. But I found that God was there for me. I clung to the Word. I read the Word. I internalized it. I prayed, and that's what kept me going. Sometimes it was hard, but God was there. And I found out that He doesn't answer why questions, but He just says, trust me. And I chose to trust. A special love of mine has been to teach women. I love to have women's Bible classes, and I feel that that's my calling. And in these last years, that has become more and more my calling. I feel that God has helped me pass through a difficult time, and I'm able to help others. I'm able to come alongside and say, you know what? God was with me, and He will be with you every day, and He will show you the way, and it's worth it. It's worth it. Everything the Bible says is true, and you can count on it. And then I like to encourage young mothers during the child raising time and give them tips, things that I've learned along the way. This is something that I really enjoy. And when I teach a class on Wednesday night to women, which I enjoy very much, I have breakfast once a month, Titus 2 breakfasts. And then my travels to Mexico have been a very fulfilling thing for me. I look forward to it. Every time I get an opportunity, I'm there. When I'm with the people, I feel such love for them. My heart just goes out to them, and I feel this is where I'm meant to be. After my husband's death, he had wanted very much to return to Oaxaca and Chiapas, and I wanted to do that for him. I made that trip last year in the summer, and I was able to say this was John's dream. He couldn't come. God had other plans, but I'm here. And I was able to see what God had done. It had been John's vision to begin the work in Oaxaca and Chiapas, and today there are thriving churches there. I couldn't stop crying. I thought, God, everything is worth it. And the work is going on, and I could encourage them to keep going, because the reward is worth it. It's worth it to see people choose Christ, to choose to follow Him no matter what.
Fiel.